you see somebody chain dancing too much, it might not be real. Boys Night is not a diamond. So, and diamond is meant to be at the highest caliber, the hardest stone. Boys Night is not as hard. It doesn't do as well under fire, and it scratches over time. You can't scratch a diamond, you can scratch moissanite. So you could be the shiniest person in the club today. Wear that piece for a year, see if you still shine. I believe like in the jewelry, it's easy to get got. You could get got on two different levels. I could get got as a dealer, as the person doing the wholesaling. You guys could get got as a customer. As a dealer, you learn over time because you're doing this every day. My first piece for sure, I paid $5,500 for my first piece. Instead of doing with diamonds on the outside, finished icing it out for like another $3,500. So I paid $9K. That piece was not worth more than $4,500. Before you even shop, do your research before. No different quality diamonds, no gold. But remember, at the end of the day, you're still paying for the service. So just because you have a piece and it's $1,000 worth of diamonds and $1,000 worth of gold, it's not a $2,000 piece. You paying for the labor, you paying for the service, and you paying for the name.
How do you protect yourself when you win the jewelry? You gotta get insurance, you gotta get a Glock, what?
And like what happens if you run out of money? I could damn near borrow for myself because on the construction, I might charge $20,000 for a job and the whole $20,000 is profit. Versus I might charge $100,000 for a piece and only $10,000 is profit. If the piece takes me 2 months to make, I got a 2-month loan of $100,000. That's how I look at it. If it takes me 6 weeks to make and it's a $5,000, I got $5,000 to borrow from interest free for this.
So welcome back to another episode. My name is Cody Brown, and listen, this is another episode of Motion and Success. Today we have another guest alongside my co-host with me, Ayo.
Yup, it's Ayo, and we back with another episode, but this one gonna be a little different, bro.
A little bit different from the usual ones. So this is gonna be one of the ones where we talking about the jewelry industry, talk a little bit about real estate and the car rentals as well. We have our guest today. His name is Don. So go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
I go by Don. I'm a jeweler first, entrepreneur, car rentals, construction, real estate. We try to make time for everything.
Okay. So where you from, bro?
I'm from Queens. Born and raised. Is Jamaican Queens growing up. Regular stuff, but
That's what's up. I see you got the ice on the jewelry.
Yeah, this is my best marketing. This is my best marketing here. Even if you don't know what I do, I get a lot of people coming like, who made that, or I like your piece, and that's always a door open, a conversation starter. Yeah. So yeah, like a lot of times you'll see me with a piece on or a watch on, and
I can't lie, the design is definitely dope on that. I see.
It's funny because I'm not even into like you see this color on it. I'm not really into like colored pieces, but I know a lot of people like be like, what's that? So that's I wear what draws people other attention versus what I really like, which is the funny part. And I also I really like plain Jane watches, but I'm always gonna wear the bust down watch because I like things that draw attention. Yeah. Just so we could start that combo.
Yeah, now we definitely we gonna jump a little bit more into that. But like, how was life growing up in Queens? Like coming up, like how was it?
Really much to say about. So Queens was like it's a calm neighborhood. It's not too much in the way. I grew up with Caribbean parents, so you already know how that goes. Yeah. You when you go to school, you get sent to school for school. So all this stuff, all this thing, like it ain't really much of that. Like I remember asking for Jordans, I remember asking for all that, and then my dad was heavy on the like I ain't sending to school for a fashion show. I sent you to school to learn. So once you get in there, like I had no option but to but to learn. But I feel like it did cause sometimes like maybe you to get off track because now you're trying to fit in other ways because you don't got the clothes, you don't got the stuff, you don't want to get bullied, so you're trying to be one of those like cool but bad kids, like you being one of those. So like I did find myself off track at a lot of times, but nevertheless, school was kind of always easy to me. Yeah. So I always got the work done, and that's what they was looking at. The other stuff came after. I still got my beatings here and there, but. It made me who I am today, so I'm happy for that.
That's a fact, bro. It's so crazy that you say that because my parents, like on the last episode, middle school, one pair of shoes. My family from Jamaica, so you ain't getting no multiple different colored shoes to match with outfits. Facts. You going to school for school, and if it's something else, it's gonna be a problem. But I understand exactly what you're saying. So it's funny because it's like, looking back. She was a little bit tough, that forced me to get my first job, things like that, to get my own money, because I'm like, my mom's ain't gonna buy it, my dad not gonna buy it, who gonna buy it,
Facts.
So yeah.
So like coming up, like what made you drawn to jewelry? Like,
so Drawn to jewelry. I don't think I was really drawn to jewelry itself, but I was always into like making money. So like even from high school, and like I said, like I didn't have, my parents wasn't buying that for me, but I was selling candy in high school. It's candy and sodas. Me and Chris, like till this day, we still do business together. But we started selling candies and soda in high school. And even before that, I remember one of my like, I would call my first business venture. My mom always talks about. My family always talk about it. Second grade, when the Staples used to have the back to school sales, and they had like the 10 pencils for 10 cents. And then I was in class one day, and one of my friends asked for pencils. You know, kid, you just being funny. Like, no. Like, oh, I'll give you $1. I'm like, $1 for one pencil? Mom, brought home that $1. Let me get 10 pack of pencils. I was in there selling pencils for not my fault, not $1, 50 cents. And then I got in trouble in school for that. But I got in trouble, like, the teachers talking to my parents, he's distracted, he's something, but they was really more impressed than anything. And my mom tells me that story from day one. She always told me, like, yeah, you're going to be into business. Like, that's you. So that's how I always started. Like, I always sold stuff, like, whether it was, like, candy, sodas, pencils. I used to sell belts, stuff like that in high school. So then when I got introduced to jewelry, that was probably, like, my senior year of high school. I started getting, like, little gold chains. Then, like, freshman year of college, that's when I got more into the jewelry. I always had, like, 2 small pieces. And then I finally got my first custom piece, and that's what introduced me into the process of making jewelry. Is because I followed that jeweler. I'm not going to name him, but I followed him very closely while he made my piece. And then I reached out to him for an internship, which I didn't get, but that's how it all started.
That's fire, bro, because I'm not even going to lie. I'm also, like, I'm not heavy into the jewelry, but I kind of understand what's going on and stuff like that. So, like, I know it's usually, like, a family type of thing. Like, the way if you walk down the Diamond District, everything is, like, a family. Like, everybody is kind of, like, you know, it's like the Jewish people. They got their cousins, everybody. You don't really see. But then what's crazy is that it's a lot of black people that's buying from them as customers. So, we don't really see black people being jewelers. So, to see you kind of jump into the game, like, that's what's up. So, like, how did you start, like, getting your own jewelry, kind of like understanding the game, starting from scratch like that?
Yeah, so that was the hardest. So starting from scratch was like, you really, I'm jumping into a game where it's very family oriented, it's very cliquey. Everyone already deals with who they deal with, and I'm not gonna lie, I found my way basically just by that person who I shadowed. He actually did YouTube videos, and how I started, because I reached out to multiple jewelers for internships. I still got the emails to this day. Sometimes I read them back because it's funny to me.
Wow.
And then no response. A couple of them did, like, hit me up, oh, like, come work for us, because they see I got the clients now. So they want their clients because they get the most percentage. So it wasn't really the lack of information, because I found the information on YouTube. He had a YouTube channel, and then he's like, oh, yeah, this is a day in my life of being a jeweler. I buy diamonds from here. I get my gold from here. I get this from there. And everything's on that Diamond District block. So every time he got to a building, I paused it. I looked. I'm like, this is the number of the building. I went there. So I remember the first place I went to was to get my diamonds. I seen it in his video, like, oh, this is this, and then it's this. I seen the number. I went to the building. They like, oh, I'm like, yeah, I'm here to pick up some diamonds. I'm here to buy some diamonds. Not really know what I'm talking about. He like, yeah, okay, we could get you what you looking for. I'm like, yeah, some VS diamonds. He's like, oh, by the way, who sent you? Said the jeweler's name. They're like, oh yeah, come. So now they giving me good prices, because they can't tell me, because if I didn't know anyone, they could tell me any price. But now they telling me the prices that they would give them, because they think I'm coming from them. So that's how I really started, and from there I just ran with it. And that's all it took. Like, it wasn't really about, I had the information. Now all I had to do was execute it, which is the hardest part.
Wow, that's fine. I'm glad you took that risk and you went out and you was hungry for that information. You was sending out emails, trying to get internships, trying to learn from, people that's in the game, But I see what you mean too, because I do remember me, like, because I was kind of like going jewelry shopping, whatever. I wanted to get a watch or something like that. And, like, I was nervous going in, because I'm like, this is, like, I'm not an expert, so it's like, I don't want to get got. I ain't trying to get scammed. And then it's like you don't want to overpay for something. So I'm going into there like I'm watching YouTube videos. I'm like, damn, like, all right, so you know it's real if it's looking like this, or like the price range is kind of between this. I'm on Chrono 24. I'm trying to figure out like, yo, where could I kind of like, so I'm not getting scammed. You know what I mean? So it's like, how did you kind of like understand the numbers and what's worth, like what got value, what doesn't have value, like.
What's up, y'all? Sorry to interrupt. Listen, if you are looking to get 100K in business funding, tap in with me and my team. You can follow me on Instagram at wealthy__ZACH. That's wealthy__ZACH. Let's get back to the episode.
So I believe like in the jewelry, it's easy to get got, and then you could get got on 2 different levels. I could get got as a dealer, as the person doing the wholesaling and getting I could get got in that way, and then you guys could get got as a customer. As a dealer, you learn over time because you're doing this every day. So if you get got in the beginning, like anyone could get got starting something, you're not gonna get got forever. But as a consumer, how many times you gonna be buying a piece? Maybe not often. You might have got on your only piece. Like my first piece for sure, I paid $5,500 for my first piece. It said done with diamonds on the outside, and I finished icing it out for like another $3,500. So I paid $9K. That piece was not worth more than $4,500. I make jewelry now. If I sold that piece, I wouldn't sell for more than $4,500. So you gotta you gotta trust who you shop with. That's the main thing you want to do. You want to trust who you shop with, and but before you even shop, do your research before. No different quality diamonds, no gold, but remember at the end of the day, you're still paying for the service. So just because you have a piece and it's $1,000 worth of diamonds and $1,000 worth of gold, it's not a $2,000 piece. You paying for the labor, you paying for the service, and you paying for the name. So if you want to go get somebody with a name, or if you don't want to get somebody with a name, you just want the quality of the piece, you gotta make that decision too, because you could have a white T-shirt with a polo sign and a white T-shirt with no sign. One would be 5, one would be 30. So it depends what you want, how you want to spend your money.
That makes sense. So is that the reason why rappers be like, oh, got the chain from Benny, got the chain from Avion, exactly. Whoever the name is? So that's why they do that?
So with jewelry, as a jeweler, it's not too hard to get your quality up because you learn quickly over time. Like I believe when I first started making pieces, I always use the best quality because I always into like I'm using VS, I'm using 14 karat, I'm using perfectly mixed gold. But now it's putting it together. As I got better with that, I realized I'm making top of the line jewelry now. But even I could make my best piece, I can't charge the same as another jeweler because they got the name. So now I'm working on building a brand and not just I feel like I already got the best quality pieces. So now I'm building a brand. So now it's not just, oh, I got a 14 karat VS piece. I got a black ice pendant. So I'll pay the extra for that every time. So like when a rapper would want to say, yeah, I went to Black Ice, he's not gonna want to say I went to, I'm not gonna name another jeweler, but feel me?
Yeah, I get you.
Facts. So I know in the jewelry game, like y'all definitely got to take y'all marketing seriously, because
for sure.
I be seeing like some of these jewelry, like like you said, the rappers coming in, because rappers they like the top customers, bro.
Slamming it down on the counter.
Are they really?
Cash.
They not the top customers. They bring in the most customers.
Oh, they bring in the most.
You charging the rappers the least amount of money, or you giving it to them free. A lot of these people be giving rappers free jewelry, so that the customers could come in and make their money back. So you can't really be looking at what these rappers is wearing or what these rappers is spending, because they might not even be spending that. They might spend it with Elliot because he's the top. They might spend it with Alex Morris, like some top jewelers, because they don't need them. But when it comes to like the everyday jeweler, the other jeweler, they want shit for free. My fault, I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, you do.
But they want it for free, or they want it at the lowest price, and then they're gonna give it to them. Because if I was gonna spend $5,000-$10,000 on marketing this month, and I could just give a rapper a $10,000 piece, I'm kind of saving money for the same promo.
Yeah.
So don't really look at what rappers and them spending, because they might not even be spending.
You know what's crazy? I done heard a story like that from Bandman Kevo. You ever heard of him?
Yeah, of course.
So he's like, top of the line. He got all his fingers diced out, this, chain, all kinds of crazy pieces. He's like, yo, bro, I done spent so much bread with some of these jewelers, and they ain't give me no discount, they ain't give me no referral, no affiliate, nothing, you know. So it's like, damn, you know, you spend a lot of bread sometimes, and you might not be getting
because to him, to some jewelers, if they don't know you, they gonna treat you like you're a customer.
Yeah.
They gonna charge you the top of the line. But if he was more out, if to the jeweler they knew them, or even if one person just walked by and like, can I get a picture with you, then they gonna show more interest. That's how it works. Cause now, like even if you have a clothing brand, if let's say Drake came to you for a shirt, or even if you sell your shirts for $200, you selling it to him for $200, or you giving it to him? Because if you give it to him, he put that shirt on, you might get 1,000 customers buying at $200, and you made way more money than. Feel me?
That's true.
You ever had a rapper come and try to pull like, you know, I'm a rapper, trying to get a discount?
Yeah. So the first time I had something like that, I'm not gonna say the rapper's name, but so he actually DM'd me, like, just comment on my story, fire, I'm hype. First thing, that's the first mistake I made, to be excited. So I'm hype. I'm like, okay, he had like, I don't think like 2.5 million followers. I'm like, okay. I'm like, yeah, bro, come shop with us, black owned. I don't say black owned too much anymore because I'm a business, whether I'm black, white, anything. I'm a business first,
agree. Yeah.
And I don't want to. Because I people started saying, oh, this is the best black jeweler, but like that limits me. Like I want to be the best overall. I don't want to be the best black jeweler. But at that time, I was saying, oh yeah, black owned, come shop. He's like, for sure. I'm looking for some Cuban bracelets. And I just happened, like, I had a very small inventory, most things I make, but I had a Cuban bracelet. It cost me about $5,500 to make. And I was like, yeah, I have this bracelet I'm selling for $7,000. He was like, come on, bro, can you do better? So I'm like, yeah, for sure, I could do $5,500. So that's how much it cost me to make, because I still have to pay for the diamonds and the gold. He's like, okay, he was like, I'm going to take 3. Can you do even better? I'm like, okay, if you take 3, I'm going to give it to you for all 3 for 15. Which is me losing $500 a piece. This is me losing $1,500. This is me starting off early. I didn't really have the money, the budget, but I'm willing to give up $1,500 of my dollars to get him to top. So I'm like, okay. He's like, nah, bro. He's like, I'm gonna come see you in person, but I'm trying to get all 3 for 10. So I'm like, that's me losing $5,000, which I already don't have. So I'm like, okay. I told myself, like, I'm gonna figure it out after. I'm like, yeah, come in. I'm just gonna need a shout out, and then I'll give you the pieces for the 10K. He's like, okay, but you have to you post it, like he's not posting it. So I'm like, that's not really that wasn't worth 5K to me, and it's not like he was a big enough artist for me to say like that's worth 5K low. So I'm like, nah. So the best price I could do is 15 if you're not gonna post a shout out, and then the deal ain't go through, but kept the pushing, and we here now.
That's crazy.
No, I'm glad you ain't fold up and fall for that.
Yeah, especially
that's
starting out
crazy.
in the beginning.
And even in the beginning, I didn't even have a shop yet, so it's not like I could have even took a video of him inside my shop. It's like, what was I gonna do? Take a video of me outside on the street with him? I would just look like someone else just catching a quick picture with him. So I really thought it through, and I was like, it wasn't the best move. I could have used that $5,000 so many other ways for the brand at that time. This is like 2.5 years ago. Well, like 2 years ago, because I'm about to be 3 years in. So, yeah.
So like with the jewelry industry, like you got to come out of pocket to fund all of these things, like starting out. Like, do you use like credit cards? Like,
it depends who you are. It depends who you are, because so like I told you, when I went to these stores, these vendors, and to get my diamonds and my gold, I just said I knew this person, and then I got the diamonds, but I had to pay up front. Then they got something called memos, where like after they know you for a certain while, they give it to you on the arm, and then you got 30 or 60 days to pay. So now I was going to one of my diamond dealers for probably almost a year, and then I seen like some new kid came in. He was Jewish, and then he came in, and then he was like, oh, he need diamonds, and then she's like, oh, from the convo I knew it was a first time transaction, and then he was like, yeah, I heard something about my mom. She's like, yeah, you could take it and pay me in 30 days. I'm like, you could pay. So now I'm excited. I'm like, because he was in front of me. So I'm like, okay, let me ask about my memos. I'm like, I've been doing this for a year. Like, oh, she was like, oh, you got to talk to the boss. He sent me to the back, like, yeah. And he's like, hey, don't how you, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I would like to get my next diamonds on memos. Like, how does that go about? He's like, oh no, we don't do memos here. I'm like,
Crazy.
I didn't even say I seen that. I'm like, oh, thank you. And I still bought my diamonds for the day because I was gonna get diamonds. Just never went back to him again. Like, I took that real personal, only because he didn't tell me what I could do to get a memo or anything.
Yeah.
But he just told me like I don't do memos. So I jumped in right to a new diamond dealer. They asked me like who you deal with. I was like, oh, I used to deal with him. And they're very competitive. So he's like, oh, I'll give you better prices than him. I told him what I was paying there, and then I just had to go deal with a whole new diamond dealer. He seen me like a couple months later. Was like, oh, why you stop coming here? I'm like, oh yeah, not having been selling too much. It's been slow. I ain't telling the real reason, but you just got to move on sometimes and do what's best for you.
That's crazy. So what you think behind it? You think it was because you was black or the other guy was Jewish?
I don't think it's because I was black, but I think it's because he was Jewish. So I'm not saying I'm not saying they're racist or anything like that, but I'm saying you stick to who you know. Like they might be able to call someone and know his family. Yeah. They can't call nobody and know my family. So I can't look at it like, oh, it's because I'm black. It's because if your friend asks you to borrow your car, you're gonna give it to him. But if they ask you to borrow, you might not give it to him because you might know. I could if I can't find you, I could call your closest friend. I could call your brother. They can't do that over there. So I'm not looking at it like I did take that very personal, only because I felt like I had a relationship with them already. But that's what it is. Like a lot of people take and can't afford to pay back. So now they're like, what if I can't afford to pay back? How are they gonna get a hold of me? So I just look at it like that. But I don't think there's any too much race. I mean, it depends on the person, but I don't look at that first. I don't always want to jump to a conclusion, say someone is racist or something like that.
Yeah, now I'm glad you ain't look at it like that too, because a lot of people would have been discouraged. Like, nah, they kind of rejected me because I was black, because the Jewish kid had went before you. So that's that. I'm glad you ain't look at it like that. Yeah. So like, right now, like, what type of pieces are you working on, or like who are your top clients that coming in?
You're going to realize your top clients is going to be your regular, everyday people. Like I said, even if you come across a couple rappers or something, you're not making a lot of money from it. You're more like getting promo from it. But there's going to be regular people who come in and spend $50,000, $100,000. And I'm just so happy for the field I'm in because before this, I did construction. That's how I really got my money up to start the jewelry, because I had to come in with $6,000 for diamonds and this amount for gold. And I spent a lot just starting off and then messing up. I started off made pieces and it didn't come out how I wanted to, and then you gotta redo and lose all that labor and stuff. So I started when I did construction. Construction did make me more money, especially at first, and construction is like a very high profit business compared to like jewelry. There's not as much profit, but you do more volume. But the people I'm meeting is like, I feel like gives me a whole lot of business idea because I'm a person who execute. I'm not a person who like, you gonna give me information, I'm gonna know it and not do nothing with it. I use a YouTube video, started a business. I could use one piece of information, I'll run with it. So I meet people who own schools. I met people who sold hat pins. I met people who, I'm talking about come and buy a $50,000 piece of hat pins. I'm like, where you get this money from? Oh, I sell these pins for $3 and I pay 10 cents for them. And I'm selling volumes. People are paying $15 sometimes depending on the drop. So like I look at things all types of different ways. I met real estate people. I met people who do business fund. I met like a lot of good connections that I was able to like even like start dipping my hand into certain places or getting ready to.
That's so like with the construction field, like I know you run your own business in the construction side as well, not only just the jewelry. So like, what's the like? How does that look on your side for like the construction, real estate, and things like that?
So like jewelry, like construction, like those two are very close because I learned about business overall. So when I first got into business, I wanted to do everything myself so bad. I wanted to be able to say like, I know how to set diamonds, I know how to cast gold, I know how to build a wall. And because especially in our community, if you're not the one doing it, they feel like you getting over on them. So I'll get a construction job. If I hire two people, they can be like, oh, I could have just hired them because they feel like they could do what you could do. Or like I would have a job and then people be like, oh, you're not really the one doing it yourself. Do you even really know how to do it? So I'll make it a point to go build them walls and put in 20, 40 hours a week on this when I have other stuff to do. So then I decided, like, yo, I'm not gonna let somebody trick me into doing things their way. I'm gonna do it my way. Like, so I learned how to delegate. I learned how to have a team. So now, because I don't just do jewelry, I don't just do construction, I don't just do both of them. I have car rentals. I have buying flips. Like, I have a lot of things that I still do. So I have to be able to, like, run teams. So now when I have a construction project, I might have 5 people on a job, and then people respecting now because, like the last job I did, it had happened to be for a friend of a friend. I met them through college, and then they introduced me. Then it was like, she talked to me like, you know, like, when it's your community thing, it's like fun and games. It's like, oh, Sean, you never here. My job is to get the job done. It's not to be here. I'm a busy person. I come here, I check in. The job got done how you wanted to got done, and it was in your budget, and you liked it. So it doesn't matter if I'm there or not. Like, you don't know what I'm doing behind the scenes. You don't know who I'm telling to be there at this time. You don't know what I'm doing, like, to get the job done. So once you have to be confident in yourself, because at first I'm thinking, like, the way they're talking to you when you first start, like, especially, I'm talking about construction. This is before I started doing jewelry. I felt like if I wasn't there, they made me feel like I was getting them. Because why am I getting paid to not be here? But I'm getting paid to run the whole operation. And you got to understand, like, you run the operation is the most important part. Because you can get somebody from Home Depot to come throw up your walls real quick, but if they mess up, you can't even find them to call them back. They don't got no insurance. They don't got, like, you got to make sure you know who you trust and you know who you spend your money with. Because when you spend your money correct, you don't got to spend it twice.
That's a fact. Because a lot of days now, like, Home Depot is kind of crowded. You know what I mean? So it's easy money out there.
It's easy money out there.
Easy money. You just throw, you spend $1,000, throw some walls, do this, do that. But the work don't be looking good. You gotta come back, hire somebody else, do it all over again. So now it's more expensive.
I was doing this house. He said, which is the craziest thing. I was so young, I let it slide. I'm working on his house. He tells me, like, oh, he found somebody. He was at Home Depot picking up, and somebody said they could finish it for cheaper. So he was just gonna give them the job. And I'm just like, so, like, oh, well, thank you for letting me start the job. Like, I got my content. I'm like, you could let them finish it. They flooded his house. I don't want to say that was God. I don't want to put that on nobody, but I'm like, then he called me to, like, help him with the flooding and stuff. I'm like, oh wow, that's crazy for me to go stuff. And I did, and I still went and helped. I still end up redoing the job because now when the house is flooded, the whole floor is just messed up. I had to redo the floor thing, and I charged him the same. A person I am now, if I went and did the job, I would have charged double just for the fact that I had to fix it. But, like, at that time, I wasn't worried too much about the money, but I was worried about building the brand. So I had even better content because now I had content from the beginning to the middle. Then I had content of a flood. Then I had content, like, I had a whole bunch of content that I used and ran with.
Nah, that's I like what you just said too. He's like, you wasn't worried about the money to start off with, bro. Like,
you can never be worried about the money at the beginning because then you're never gonna get to it. Because the only way to make money, you gotta spend it. And a lot of people start their brand and they want to keep all the money for themselves. That you're not gonna get far. Or, like, when I started jewelry, it doesn't matter if I made the same quality of pieces as the next jeweler. I can't charge the same because I'm just getting started, and they're gonna think that you're so you can't be like, oh, I'm gonna start today and I'm gonna start charge $10 for a piece. I was breaking even, or some pieces I took losses on. Like, I took a couple pieces. I'll be like, oh, the customer was like, their budget is $5K, and I might know it's like, oh, this is a $6,000 piece. Can you get to at least $5,500? They'd be like, okay, I'll take a $500 L to make the piece. Because then when I post it, people like, oh, now you really do this. And then after I finally got enough, like, oh, you really do this, people came ready to spend their money. And that's when the money gets started to be made.
Yeah, that's what's up, bro. So as a jeweler, like, you got to break down, like, that art of, like, negotiating, because it's a little intimidating, bro. Because it's like you talking with a buyer, and then you also got a price in your head, and then you don't want him to walk away, and then it's like what's the art behind that?
So the best thing I ever learned, and I learned that this is also a lesson I learned very recent, is that you can't sell people on price. You gotta sell them on value. So I be trying to jump right into like, nah, this is the best. Like, I could make this for you cheaper, but do you really want it cheaper? I can make you be I could give you the shiniest chain in the club. I could make you get all the attention anywhere you go, or we could just get it done. And then people always gonna want the highest value. So then I also, when I do custom pieces, because that's what I specialize in, I give them price. I price it at SI, VS, 14K and 10K. So you can pick. And then I tell people okay, your budget is 5K. I'll give you 10 carat SI. Nah, bro, I can't do no SI. I'm like, all right, so VS gonna be 1,500 more. Like, really 15? I could do that.
Yeah.
Like, and I'll tell them like, yo, the gold, whether it's 10, 14, or 18, you're not gonna tell the difference in the gold, but the diamonds is gonna tell the difference. So if you wanna spend something extra, put it on the diamonds. Don't put it on the gold. Financially, that's not the smartest decision because gold is what holds the value, not the diamonds. But they also respect me letting them know that this is what it is. So now, if you want to be financially smart, spend the most on something gold heavy. But if you want to dance, if you want to be flashy, spend on the diamonds. And a lot of people go for the diamonds, and then that's how I do. So I give budgets, price range. I work in your budget, and then I give you what I think my special would be. And then they always go with like probably what I want. There are a few people who be like, nah, I just want to change. I just want to be real. And then I respect that too. I'm making it a budget. But if you want the 5 piece, and I always push for them to get that top quality because I'm new, so my work counts. Like everything I put out is very important to me because everything is word of mouth. If I only it's not like I have 1,000 customers and 500 to SI and 500 to V. If I only have 100 customers out, I want 100 of them in V as diamonds because I want them to see my work is the best work. So I might charge. I'm charging more because of the material, but I might charge less labor just because I want you to be able to fit that VS budget.
So my question is, like, we got the VVS, you got the cubic zirconium, you got all kind of grades of diamonds. Why should a person not go to JCPenney, Zales, Pearson Pagoda, and they should go to you instead?
All right, so the first thing, like, so when you come to like VS, VVS, SI, those is just qualities. You could get different qualities and different type of stones. You could even cubic zirconium, moissanite, diamond. They might all be great as VS, VVS. I could sell you VVS moissanite. That's not a diamond. I could send you VVS lab. That's a lab made diamond. I could send you VVS, a VVS ruby. VVS just stands for very, very slight imperfections. VS stands for very slight imperfection. SI stands for slightly included, and then I stands for included. So it's just telling you how much imperfection is in the stone. But that once you get into a diamond, you could go high or low. That doesn't mean if you have an SI diamond, that doesn't mean it's fake. It's just not the best quality. So now when we get into fake stuff, that's when we talking about moissanite.
Yeah, people be shining with the moissanite though. Like the
moissanite actually
with moissanite.
The moissanite actually shines more because it refracts light differently. So you're gonna see a lot of color in it. If you see somebody chain dancing too much, it might not be real. Like
so, once you say like though, like it's kind of like so you paying less, but you shining brighter than somebody who paid the same, like probably even paid way more.
So
that's an argument I heard too.
So the first thing about diamonds, you're paying for rarity. A diamond is more rare than moissanite because moissanite is made in lab. Diamonds are made from earth. But now that they got lab diamonds, they're able to recreate diamonds in the lab, which is slightly cheaper. But even those, I would even recommend before moissanite because moissanite is not a diamond. So, and diamond is meant to be at the highest caliber, the hardest stone. Moissanite is not as hard. It doesn't do as well under fire, and it scratches over time. You can't scratch a diamond. You can scratch moissanite. So you could be the shiniest person in the club today. Wear that piece for a year. See if you still shine. Them diamonds gonna scratch, and then they shine different. Diamonds have a very white shine to them. Moissanite look like cotton candy.
Oh, so you could tell the difference on like coming close.
Yeah, and some it's funny. Even some of the girls that's starting to catch on. I seen the balloon pop thing. She put the flash on those guys.
Oh,
she was like, oh, it shine too much. Is that moissanite? He was like, yeah. They was like, what the? She's a human diamond tester. I'm like, damn, they catching on. Like,
if girls get onto that, it's over. It's over. No more sections.
I'm gonna say it again. If it's shining like cotton candy, it's moissanite.
Oh man.
So now they know.
Because a lot of dudes, they gonna wear it and be like, yo, I ain't wearing it for the guys, I'm wearing these for the girls. They're not gonna be able to. I'm still pulling, you know,
because you put that diamond, you get stopped on the diamond tester, you passing it. With the moissanite, you passing the diamond tester.
That's crazy.
So it's like, but moissanite's still not cheap. You still might pay like $4,000, $5,000 for a piece, but in diamonds that might be $30,000. So relatively, it's still not cheap, but it's cheaper.
Right. I done heard like stories where dudes are selling their change because nowadays, like you got guys getting custom moissanite pieces, and they spending way less versus dudes that spending like $80,000, $50,000, $100,000 on a chain, and it's like, damn, like it makes no sense to even have a chain at this point because it's like dudes is just paying way less and they still, you know.
Yeah, but it's like what do you really wear jewelry for? Like jewelry is really for like you could, some people wear jewelry as like a trophy to themselves. Like you worked this hard, you could afford this. And then there's some people just wear it just like for the attention. So if you might just be wearing it for the attention, but you never want to get caught at the wrong time because you never know. They making new diamond tests that tell them between natural, lab, and moissanite. I definitely got one of those. I would never pull it out on somebody because that's not my place. And if you didn't get it from me, I'm not even checking for it. But they got those testers, and as technology gets better, because before you used to have to pay $20,000 for a machine to tell the difference between that. Now $6,000. Give it a year or two, it might be $1,000, $600, $500. And once it comes accessible to everybody, that getting away with stuff is gonna be out the window. So that's the first thing you got to worry about. And second, like it depends. Like some people fake it till they make it. Like same way, like just how you could get moissanite, you could get fake Louis Vuitton, you could get fake Jordans. But if that Jordan sound like off and you get caught with it, it's over.
Yeah.
So
you gotta play it off like
play it off like I'm past that. I don't really care for real Jordans.
Yeah,
maybe you can say I'm past. I don't really care for real diamond. I use my money better, and that's respectable. But it all depends on what type of person you are. Do you want to fake it, or some people fake it till they make it. Some people don't fake it at all. So it is what it is.
I want to touch back on the rappers because they kind of push the trends with the jewelry. So like you kind of see some of them when they coming up, they wearing the bust down watches, they got diamonds flooded, and then later on now when they get more educated, they wearing plain Jane watches, like you know they kind of like they keeping it more simple looking.
So first thing with that, remember plain Jane watches usually cost more money.
It costs more money. Oh,
so
shit.
As an early rapper, you spending the less for the most shine. So once you get to the plain Jane, because a good plain Jane is like a starter plain Jane might be like, well, a starter plain Jane is like 15, but they not wearing that. They wearing $50,000 plain Jane. If you want something that's rose gold or gold, you add like 60, 100, 120. So those are automatically cost more. A bust down watch, you can fake it because they doing a lot of aftermarket parts. And then because you're on a bust down watch, you're really just paying for the diamonds. And even if you get a fully how I say, like a fully genuine watch and then you bust it down, you're losing money because you're drilling into the watch. Versus if you get an aftermarket watch and put diamonds in it and just have a real movement. So there are a lot of people doing stuff like that. So it's not about them really being educated. It's about what you can afford at the time and what brings you the most attention. As an up and coming rapper, you want to be bust down. Your jewelry is your brand. So the jewelry is a big part of your marketing. So you'll spend whatever on it. When you get older, like if you were a known rapper, your jewelry is not really your brand anymore. You could wear a plain Jane because you might be Drake, so they know you. You might be Lil Baby, they know you. You could wear anything you want now. So you wearing what holds your money now, not just what looks good.
The flex is different when you wear plain Jane too. Like at first, I used to be like, "Yo, when I get this amount of bread, I'm getting a Cartier bust down, da. But I'm like, the plain Jane looks better if you ask me. You know.
So even like, look at me. I got on a bust down AP. So I look at it like this. I don't like white. I don't like stainless steel watches. So this plain is stainless steel. It looks very plain to me. If I was to get a plain Jane watch, it would have to be gold or rose gold. So I actually had this plain first. This watch usually sometimes be around 40, 50. I got it in the market for around 29,000. So I feel like I got a good deal on it. Then I was wearing it for a little while, and I'm like, yo, this is just not me. If I was to get a plain Jane watch, it would be rose gold or two-tone, and those you're already starting way high. You're looking at the 50, 60 mark, which I wasn't looking for. So then I'm like, I'm gonna throw diamonds in these. Especially I'm a jeweler. I have all these diamonds left over, and then this is my market. I could sell this at any time. I'm gonna throw $10,000 worth of diamonds into it. and then that's how like I feel more comfortable with a bust down watch if it's white, but I'm really a plain Jane person.
Yeah.
But like the watch I really want is a AP Skeleton. That's 200,000. I want a Patek Nautilus. That's 130,000. Like those watches is far the budget even for a jeweler. So, I'm working with what I can.
Nah, that's wild. You really bust down the AP because APs. I think the value for those like they like plain they out of the roof right now. I mean they coming down now.
Yeah, they coming down, but that's for like blue faces, green faces. This was a white face, so it wasn't even worth that much. And if you really look, I just looking at the watch over time, like a white face thing. Right? It didn't look expensive to me. It didn't feel expensive to me. When I first got it did, but then at the time it became normal to me, and I was like, I wanted to bust it down. And it's funny, having it bust down attracted more clients than having it plain. But now when I need to switch it up and go into them rooms where I need a plain watch, it's like I got to wear a whole different watch because this is not cutting it in certain rooms.
Yeah.
The plain Jane gonna work in every room, but the bust down is not.
Might be too loud.
Might be too loud.
Distraction.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of got to know where and when to
Exactly.
wear it. Do you when like having your jewelry on, do you ever feel pressured like when you go to certain environments like I got on this jewelry on, I might have to spend a lot of money in the club because everybody looking at me
For
like,
sure. For sure.
You can't have all this jewelry and not spend the bag. Like
So some people look at it like, oh, you look like you, whether you got it or not. If you have the jewelry on, you look like you got it, so you don't got to do too much. I'm a person like I'll just talk about faking you till you make it. I don't like that. I like to, if that's what it is, that's what it is. So I just be, which is sometimes not a good thing. I just be trying to prove to myself, like, if I wore the jewelry, I could afford to do this in the club. And then I end up spending too much in the club.
Yeah, I've been thinking though, because if you go to the club and the way everything is set up, with the sections and everything, everybody iced out, like they automatically gonna think like,
yeah, for sure. If I'm trying to go out and trying to have a calm now, I'm not putting on my chain because I already know as soon as I get to the door, the bottle girl gonna like, yo, come here, or like they might even like make you come to this part, like, or like get you in faster, or like, oh, you need a table. Like every time I wear, like they ask me, do I need a table? If I go in, they not asking me if I need a table. So it's like you feel pressured to spend more.
Right.
So it's like if I don't feel like doing too much, which is I just don't wear. I wear my watch because you're not seeing a watch off rip. Like you gonna see a chain from across the club. The watch is not to having a conversation with somebody. They might glance at it and they're like, oh, that's a nice watch. So or even if you got a plain Jane watch, even better. So it depends on like, are you ready for that attention all the time?
That's true.
Yeah.
Like, and that it gets annoying. It gets annoying sometimes when you gotta spend that. Like, you gotta spend it because if you don't spend it, like if you don't, they might see somebody on the line. They don't got on jewelry. They don't ask them nothing. So if they don't spend, it's fine. But when they ask you and you be like, nah, I'm just getting a drink. They look at you some type of way like I'm supposed to do this. Like,
yeah, facts.
Like, yeah. So you gotta think about it when you wear that jewelry.
So like even like as far as like the wrong intention, like like crime, people like targeting you, want to steal your shit. Like, how do you protect yourself? Like when you wear jewelry, like you gotta get insurance, you gotta get a Glock. What
you should have both. You should have both. But like I didn't think about too much because it didn't start off expensive. Like a little piece, then you get bigger and bigger pieces. Because even though I make jewelry, I still gotta pay for it. Cause I still gotta pay for the materials, or you watch it, I gotta pay for the watch. So it's like it got a little bigger and bigger, and you get used to like walking around with more expensive stuff. But just like growing up where I'm from, you always have your head on the swivel regardless. But I really realized it one time when it was like, what was it, Mother's Day or something. I went to see my mom, and she was like, oh, what type of watch is that? Is that a Rolex? It was my AP, but it wasn't bust down. She's like, is that a Rolex? I'm like, nah, it's an AP. She's like, what type of watch? She's like, oh, I thought it was a Rolex. I thought it was expensive. I'm like, I didn't say nothing to her because it's my mom.
Yeah.
I went home. She called me, Lord Jesus, Sean. She said, so much you spend? No way you spent $25,000 on a watch. She sent me a screenshot of. She looked it up online. She didn't know she was looking at the female. She was looking at the female side. She was looking at the 33. This is a 41. This was a little bit more than that. But I couldn't even say. She was like, how? She's like, you gotta be careful. You can't wear stuff like that. You can't. She was like, I'm like, Mom, this for the brand. Like this for the brand. Like this is what I do. Like then But I just like when she said that to me, I'm like, damn, like maybe because there's a lot of people who will kill for $25,000. So it's like you gotta really be careful. But like with anything, before you do something, you gotta, like I say, like before you play the game, you gotta learn the players. Like when I was starting jewelry, I looked up like documentaries about, like, for example, my favorite, like Aviani. Aviani probably got shot at like 2-3 times going out, because Aviani was really on the road selling it. They would go to different states with bags of jewelry, like selling it, like getting the gold. That's when gold was cheaper, but they would get it off. And there's a time like their car got shot out there, thing got robbed, and that ain't stopped them. But that's the price to play coming, like high risk, high reward. So it's like, it sounds crazy, and I don't want to put this in the air. So knock on wood, like you never know in your time, and I feel like your time that's up to God. But like, just make sure you have life insurance for your family. Number one, like that's my main priority. I got life insurance, which I could also borrow from. We're gonna get to that later. But I got life insurance, so that I know I'm good. And then until then, I'm working on my brand, so like I could be at a point where I'm safer. Like the higher you get into something, the safer you are. Because once you have the money, you have the security.
So like, so like, right now, your main business is the jewelry business. That's what you locked on.
Yeah, my main jewelry is the jewelry business. I would even say that's the business I make the most money on. It's funny, like people see me with the jewelry on, the jewelry is right. Nah, it's really, the construction is the profit heavy business. The jewelry is the cash flow heavy business. And the reason why I love cash flow, because you could damn near borrow from yourself. So someone asked me one time, like, yo, you got so much stuff to like handle. Like, what happens if you run out of money? I could damn near borrow from myself, because I might on the construction I might charge $20,000 for a job, and the whole $20,000 is profit, versus I might charge $100,000 for a piece and only $10,000 is profit. But while I'm making that piece, I have $100,000 in limbo all for me, so I can go take that 100. If the piece takes me 2 months to make, I got a 2-month loan of $100,000. That's how I look at it. If it takes me 6 weeks to make and it's a $5,000, I got $5,000 to borrow from interest free for this amount of time. Even better, somebody's making payments on a piece for a year. You giving me $1,000 a week for a year. I don't worry about that till the end. You got to manage the money right, so that when the end comes, that money's not going, but you can know where to put the money. So I could damn near borrow from myself when it comes to like cash flow heavy. That's why people always be like, credit is king. Some people say cash is king. I always say cash flow is king, because credit is nothing without cash flow. Because go to the bank and have a high credit score, and they're always going to ask you for either your income or your business revenue. Yep. Which you can make up, and that's how you can get around it. But they're going to ask you for your But if you come show them your business doc, and you have $50,000 coming in every month, whether it's profit or not, they're going to give you the money. You could have a 500 credit score. They're not going to look at your credit score. So cash flow is really king. So I always make sure all that money is going into my business bank account. You give me cash. At first, I'm trying to, let me not implicate myself. First, I'm trying to hide the cash, but now I'm putting that into the business bank account. Whether it's profit or not, if I have $50K coming to that business bank account every month, if I go to the bank, they're going to give me a crazy amount of money, because it doesn't have to be profit, but they know the money's coming through, because they know they could get their payment out of you. Because if $50,000 coming through and you got to pay me $5K a month, they're going to make sure they get paid before you do what you got to do, but they're going to get paid.
Damn, I honestly didn't even know you could put your jewelry on payments like that. So how does that work? Like, they get the piece after they finish, or they got the piece while they
so like you got to be careful with that too, because you're going to get charged a lot high, because gold goes up and down, watches go up and down. So it's like it's like they got to charge you high for it, not because they're getting you, but because they got to protect themselves. Because I could sell you this watch today for $30,000, and then you make payments on it. By the time you come pick it up, it's worth $50,000.
Oh shit!
So then it's like, am I gonna lose $20,000, or am I gonna cancel the sale on you? So if I charge you $50,000 from the beginning, if it goes up to that, then that's that. Or like even gold, like gold is going up through the roof right now. So if you was making someone, I gave them a quote for a piece like last year, they're like, yo, I'm ready to get the piece, and I'm like, it's $7,000. He was like, yo, you told me $5,500. Gold prices in last year wasn't the price this year. I'm not even talking about my price going up, which I feel like it did, because I've been doing the work now, so I feel like I could charge more for it. But that's the material price going up itself. So I can't beat. I could probably come down back on my price, because that's the price I gave you a year ago. But I can't come down on materials, because I'm not going to lose for you now. Right. So it be like that sometimes.
Wow.
Do you have Like, do you have like kind of like an offer where like you let people like hold on to pieces? Like, let's say like, oh, they want to wear a piece for like a one night out. Like, you want to go out
Or
somewhere.
like a rental kind of thing.
Yeah, like they could rent a piece from you. That's bread too coming in.
So I look at it like my car rentals. If I'm renting, let's say I rent a Mercedes Benz, I rent it for like, let's say $350, a $60,000 car for $350, and I know the car can't go nowhere. How much would I rent a piece for that $60,000? If are you willing to pay $350 for one night to wear the piece? Some people, if you are, they might just want to cop a piece. But then I can't even charge you $350. I got to charge you almost triple that because it's a way bigger risk. I have trackers on my cars. It's hard to hide a car.
Yeah.
You can get low in my piece. You could switch the piece. So no one's really doing rentals for jewelry. Like I was even working like early on. I was trying to think of like a platform where you could rent out your jewelry, like almost like an Airbnb or like a Toro from end user to end user. But the insurance for that is crazy because people commit jewelry fraud right now. People put insurance on their jewelry and say it got stolen, and it never even got stolen. And it's so hard for the banks to prove. I mean, for the insurance companies to prove, they just give the money out. So now they're not really trying to insure jewelry. They'll insure engagement rings and watches, but who's wearing engagement rings and watches? They know what they're doing. It's more the white people who's getting engagement rings and watches, plain Jane watches. But now things that's like in our community, like the bust down chain and stuff, a lot of companies don't work with those because they feel like it's more, which is they're not wrong. It's a higher chance someone's gonna get their chain snatched than an engagement ring stolen. Right. So they don't want to insure pieces like that. So now imagine trying to create, or even trying to get insurance on me lending someone I don't know my jewelry. Who's gonna insure that? Because I wouldn't, as a company. I'm gonna take too many losses.
Yeah. Right. You even mentioned the car rentals. Like, so how'd you start that up? Like, what kind of cars you got right now?
That was that out of all my business, that was one of the sweetest beginnings and like the harshest realities. Like that, like the car rental business. When you start first, I started with 2 cars.
What kind of cars?
I started with a Nissan Sentra and then a Nissan Murano. And then, calm notes, and you charging like $100 a day. It's going out. The first month I got them, but they both was rented out for the month. I made probably about like $2,000 off each car, like $1,500 off each car. So I'm like, oh, this is easy. Went back and got 3 more cars. So now I'm 5 cars in. Somebody crashes a car. First problem. Then somebody's holding the car and they telling me like, yo, I'm gonna send you bread. And me thinking like, yo, the first time they sent me the bread 1 day late. The second time they renewed, they sent 2 days late. Now they're 2 weeks late. I mean, they're a week late, and I lose a whole week with the car. And then I go to pick it up. Let's say a week is $700. I go pick it up. There's a scratch on the car. It'd be stuff like that. So now it's hard. It's really hard working. Like, I'm sorry, but it could be really hard working with your community because they might not respect how hard you had to work to get to where you are. So they just look at it like, he got mad cars, he be all right. I'm not Hertz or Enterprise where you could bring the car back. They're going to bill you, but if you can't pay for it, they can't pull it off your card. Like, even if you give your car, they can't pull it off if you can't pay for it. I know that because I crashed the Enterprise car before, and I ain't paid for it. I brought it back. They was like, oh yeah, we're gonna have to charge you $1,200. I'm 18 at the time. Okay, charge it, see if that go through. Because if it do, I'll be just as surprised as you. But now when you doing these small business and you bring it back, I gotta pay for that. Or if I can make insurance is only paid for so many claims. And then and even when they do, the insurance goes up, so you try to stay away from that. But then I had to realize like, yo, if I'm charging $125 for a car a day, and Hertz is charging and Enterprise is charging $60, why are they not going there? Because they're not taking them. They come to me because they can't go to Hertz and Enterprise. And why can't? Because they either got too many accidents, they don't got a license. So the people who are left to get these cars is like the people who are not going to respect the cars. So once I learned that, right now I'm pivoting to because I never quit. I always just pivot. So right now I'm pivoting into more chauffeur. I'm gonna trade 2 of my cars in for a black truck and 2 for a Sprinter, and then I might do like 1 or 2 exotics because I know at least with the exotics, I'll make sure people have their own insurance, and then 1 rental, 2 rentals out the month. The 2-day rental will pay for the car for the whole month. But the economy, you might need to get the car out for 2 weeks to be in profit. So there's a higher chance of something happening versus what like a high end exotic. So that's what I'm pivoting to.
That's really smart. That's real smart. Sprinter vans, you know, you get that out for the night.
The black
People go
truck
around
too,
and
yeah.
eat black
And
truck.
you pay by the hour. You could
Yeah.
charge probably even $200 for an hour for a sprinter. Someone get it for 8 hours. Your note paid for the whole month or for one day. That's like I'm trying to be in profit quick, so now I could tell a customer no. Because with the economy car, I couldn't say no. I needed the money to pay for the car, so I looked at. I would go on somebody's gram and like, oh, he's not gonna respect this car, but here,
Yeah.
I need the money, and I come back crashing and be like, damn, all money not good money. But sometimes you learn a little too late.
Damn.
Wow.
That's crazy. So, like, as of right now, like, how many streams of income you pulling in?
How many streams of income? 1, 2, 3, 4. About 5.
That's some good
About
problems.
5. And it's to a point where like now, all money's not gonna be worth it to you, because once your time gets limited, just like you're not gonna want to do everything. So a lot of people come to me with business ideas because I'm like quick to jump on business ideas, but now I'm not too as quick to, because I won't even jump into a business if I don't see it could get there, or if it's not starting here. Like, because like someone's like, oh, let's do vending machines together. Like, I understand, but the amount of time and stuff you have to do, go picking up, dropping off candy, and you might come home with like 4,000. Let's say you come home with 5,000 a month. That might be good enough for somebody else, and I'm not saying you're too good for the money, but if you don't have the time for it, you could allocate your time somewhere else. So if I could say that same amount of time I could put into a business that makes 30K, why'd I go do a business make 5K? Then somebody gonna be unrealistic to say, why don't you do both? Because if you could do everything, you would have did everything, but you can't. You really can't, because then you do everything, then the vending machine's gonna be sitting there with dust because you're gonna forget to refill them. You're never gonna pick up the money. So like I'm really on some like I'm only dealing with business that are scalable. Like if I could turn this business to $1 million business, I'll do it. If this business is just pocket change, it's a hustle, I'm not gonna do it anymore. Cause you just getting the headaches. Like this car rental business is like I'm getting headaches like for pocket change.
Right.
And I'm not trying to do that anymore.
I feel you. So bro, you're a very young dude. Like how did you navigate through, you know, the jewelry industry and the real estate, like, you know, being at your age?
You gotta really be comfortable to take with taking losses, and then you gotta be comfortable to keep pushing after the losses. Cause like my mom always told me, like, you don't have no kids, you don't, like, this is the time to learn. I was in options, I was in stocks and doing options heavy to a point where I even had a page for that one time. And I was like, I'm on a Zoom call, I made like 10,000 in one day early on it, and then, you know, I got on it heavier, but I lost so much money after that. But it took me losing money to understand it, and I could do that on the side, I could do that on the background, I could invest in stocks, I could take some little money, put into life insurance, I could take, like, you learn like what to put where, because once you understand, like, every loss is a lesson. Like, people say that all the time, but I feel like that's like, you got to really understand that. Like this rental thing, I could tell 100 people how to start a rental business, but until you feel that pain of somebody crash your car, you're not going to understand it. And then also, I was big on doing things myself versus finding a mentor. And is like, if you find a mentor, you're going to skip a lot of mistakes, but you got to understand, even with a mentor, you're going to have that kind of impulsive decision to like do things your way. Cause like someone could tell me something, and I'm like, nah, this could work, and you're gonna do it and mess up, and that's when you really learn. Cause it's hard to learn for another person's mistake, cause you ain't feel that. But if you happen to see yourself, then you're like, damn, I should have listened.
Yeah.
And that's when you never forget.
You never forget them lessons. That's a fact. Yeah.
So you like, usually before you kind of jump into a new type of business, you kind of look for a mentor in that field, or you
Like,
kind of just go to YouTube first?
So like, I haven't really jumped into any new business recently, but if I'm jumping into a new business, like I said, I'm looking like for really scalable and really like high end business. So it's not a business that you're gonna really be able to jump in yourself. You're gonna need to know somebody in that business. So like the next business I'm looking at, there's a lot of paperwork, and just the person wanted like basically 20,000 to help, because it's hard to find a free mentor. People, if you find a free mentor, you either have to be really young, where they just see something in you, But once you become a grown man, like even though we still young, we grown men now. Nobody really wants to help us for free. So you gotta be able to. You either gotta be able to like offer. You gotta be able to offer something. So if you can't offer cash, come valuable in another way. So I a lot of people, if I want to start a business with you, I might give you cheaper jewelry, or I might could. If you want to help me in the real estate, I'll fix your house for like discounted. We can work together on that. So I could offer stuff, but when all those fails, you gotta be able to offer cash. So this person, he wants like 20,000 to do the paperwork, which is like, if I can't do it without you, I'm gonna have to pay that. And sometimes it's better to pay for convenience, because even though you're not my official mentor, you just help me. Now when I get into the business and I hit my first hiccup, like, oh yeah, you helped me start this. What do I do? And because he feel like he's tied into, because he helped you start it, he gonna do that for you. So like, you just gotta be prepared to like to pay that number sometimes.
Facts. And we have mentioned life insurance before. Like, how important is having life insurance? Like,
it depends on the life you live in too. Like death comes to everybody. So it's like you got to think about it. A lot of people don't like to think about it, but you have to. And then like I said, like jewelry is a very dangerous game. Like even if you go to apply to get your gun license, the top industry they give it to is the medical. Anyone in the medical field, which is crazy.
Wait, why medical though?
I have no idea. And then the second one is jewelry. So if you're in the jewelry field, you're quicker to get it. Yeah. So basically, I'm not gonna say about applying and all of that, but because they're always gonna be like, they're always gonna have a different look at you, because like where you come from and things. So they might not want to give it to you. It's gonna be a lot of hiccups, but that be that. Like, so like if you feel like you wanna. I mean, life insurance is important for everybody, because it's not only about somebody coming after you or like it could be health problems, it could be freak accidents, it could be anything. And if you feel like you have any dependents, like it's selfish to not have, because you could get life insurance for $40 a month and have a $100,000, $200,000 policy, less than what you're paying for coffee a day or whatever if you get it every day. Like there's term, which is you can't really borrow from it and stuff, but you might even get a term policy for like $20 a month even sometimes. And at least you might not be leaving a lot, but you don't have to start a GoFundMe to get buried or something.
Yeah.
But then I'm really into whole life insurance, because I look at it more like an investment, because now I could borrow from it when I need the money. Because if I'm putting money and I have $1 million policy, for one thing they know I'm gonna die regardless. So when I die, that they get in $1 million. So if they want to give me 50, 100,000 against that policy, they know they're gonna get it back. If it's not today, I got 80 years on this earth at best. So they gonna get that. They gonna get that bread back. So they gonna be quicker to give you that money and stuff, like after you build up your money to that. So that's more like a backup for me. I look at it like a backup. I don't expect to die young. God forbid. I don't want to. But that's more like a backup for me. Like if I hit 50, I know I have this much money in here that I could borrow against, aside from the money I have left in my stocks and my properties and my businesses.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that too, because I was seeing like a lot of videos on that borrowing against your life insurance policy, and a lot of people, they weren't talking about you got to build your way up to it. You got to the cash value,
and crazy high interest. Like that's not something you plan on borrowing from now. Like that's like
just a long
when you like
type
40,
thing.
50, like that's like backup money. You want to look at it like, but I really like you said, like this generation rap music has like a big like push on people. I remember one of the best people I started listening to, and I don't even think he's that nice, but I listened to him just for the fact that he gave good like Nipsey Hussle. Like I really got into him. I'm one of those. I got into him after he died, but I was just listening to his music, and then he was just talking to shit like 5 gold chains, like $1 million life insurance on my back. Like it's like I started thinking like like he talking that. So that, and I heard, and that's when I was gonna say Vince hearing about life insurance. Like you mad young, you're not thinking about death. Yeah. But then it's like you think it's money. Like you got family. You might eat. Some of us even have kids at this age. I know a lot of people with kids now. It's like you want to be set for them. So you going that day gonna come.
Facts. And to like before we start closing, like typically, like what do you do with your free time? Like let's say like because you're doing a lot. So when you do have time, like what do you like to do?
I'm fortunate enough that my work could be fun at times. So like, if I go to a club, I call it like a marketing expense because I'm going out, I'm meeting people,
Yeah.
and I'm in the clubs. You're gonna find a lot of people buy jewelry, so that's where I gotta
That's
be at
smart.
times, or even if I'm just going out, like I always have. I feel like I have something to offer everybody, and that's the best. So like, if I go meet somebody anywhere, if you don't buy jewelry, you might buy houses. You might need your home fixed. If you don't need your home fixed, you might be in town. You might need a car
Might need a
rental.
car.
You don't need a car rental. You might look into something to do with your money. Oh, let's talk stocks. Let's talk I could offer you something somewhere. So I never come to a place non-valuable. So if I'm valuable to you, you valuable to me. We always making a connection. So anything I do, I'm profiting from it. I feel like. So if I'm in the clubs, if I'm I don't know anywhere. So like I be outside often. I would say it's starting to get boring, but I'm still out there.
I feel you. How about your circle? Like, as far as like what you doing, like, are you able to like connect? Like, do you have like
So my closest friends is my friends from college. Well, I have like a few friends. Like one friend from like high school. Like we still close like 10 years plus. But my closest friends is from college, and college like you get like-minded people. I'm not gonna say in not because a lot of people who go to college, they're not business side. They go to for their career, and that's what they do. But like you get people who are like on a different type of path. Like these more might be more serious about life and stuff. Then a lot of people I'm meeting now is through like I said, like those valuable relationships. So now like through like jewelry, I met a lot of close friends who clients who became close friends after spending all that money, because now we talking about what we did to get here. So
Right.
now I'm close friends with people who might be making $3 million a year, people who making $1 million a year, people who's doing that. And then I'm not saying those aren't the best relationship, but to me, my best relationship are the people who I might not be able to talk about stuff like that, but they gonna be there for you at all times. Because I did find myself making a mistake at a point where I decided like, okay, you're not on my timing. I'm slowing
you to the
down.
side.
I'm pushing
Yeah.
you to the side. I'm talking to people on my timing, but you're going to run into a lot of envy. You're going to run into a lot
Yeah.
of fake friendships. You're going to run into a lot of people using you, and then you might be on a scene with 3 friends that are millionaires and 10 friends that are millionaires, and nobody has the best intentions for you. You might find one, but then you might have 5 friends that are just messing with you for you, and then when they in that room, you might not be there. They gonna be like, oh yeah, my friend does this, and they might put you onto that person.
Facts.
So you gotta really value your real relationships. Like you can't leave those. Like don't matter how you feel like they not on your time or thing, or y'all might have grown apart. Remember, if that love is there, y'all there for real. Like
That's true. That's real. That's real facts. At one point, that's what I did, cause I was in like network marketing, like
Yeah.
Forex and shit like that.
Yeah.
So they had
You
it.
was in Forex.
I was in IFL. So,
UPC.
so they had they like it come to a point where it's like, yo, if they not on that timing, cut it. And like,
no, they not here. If they
I
not
was-
in the room, get in the room.
yeah, get in the room. You try to sell your mans. Like, it was crazy,
Yeah.
but I realized, like as you start growing, like after everything is all said and done, all of that shit is through the air. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it's,
put your
it's-
peoples on, because they gonna have the best interest for you.
Yeah.
It's a win lose because they your peoples and they friends. They think they could slack off, but you gotta be strict with that. But when it feel good when you go to the club and
You with your homie from
and
day
get with
one.
your day ones and they all iced out. I'm not saying that's a priority, guys. I'm not saying that. But if that's what you like to do, it feel good when it's 5 of y'all and y'all all doing well and y'all all could put up, versus when you just the one and they can't even, sometimes they don't want to come out because they don't got it, or they got to do something else because they can't really afford it. So you got to put your team on first, and then those who like Adrian, he works with me. He is like the only person I have that works with me across all businesses. Like I have some friends that do jewelry with me, some friends that do construction, some that do, but he's like my right hand for everything. And then like with him early on when I'm doing the construction, like I used to undercharge. I would run out of money on jobs, and Adrian be like, yo, there ain't no money, but we gonna finish this together. So now like I remember when I got the crib in Detroit, I bought it under LLC because you're supposed to buy all your houses under LLC. I gave him a percentage of the LLC. So every money that comes in through that LLC, which means that house, partially is his. the every money that comes in partially is his without him doing no work at all, because he owns it too.
Yeah.
So like you really got like people who's there for you. You gotta like lock them in, and then of course it came with a chain.
Yeah.
So he has a chain too. He always wearing it, and that's marketing for him, marketing for me, because he's telling people about jewelry, and now it's good for him to have his own piece. So like when someone's really there for you, you gotta lock in with them and take it to the moon, because
That's a fact.
that team is what's gonna really get you there.
Facts.
That's true. That's real true. Well, I ain't got no more questions, bro, for sure. I think this was definitely good.
This is a great conversation. I ain't gonna lie. But like, last question: where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
10 years from now, I still see myself working 10 years from now. A lot of people want to say like they just want to retire early and stuff. I see myself working because I think work is actually what makes me happy. That's why when a lot of people ask me what I do in my free time, like if I'm not productive, like anyone who knows me, like you're not gonna see me sitting in one place because I physically can't. Like if I do that, I'm not happy. So I could see myself in 10 years still working, still building something, but just I want to understand how to delegate more. So just because I'm building something, that doesn't mean I'm 20 places at once. I want to be able to sit home with my wife, my family, maybe even in a different country, and be like, okay, I need to get this, and this done. So I want my jewelry brand to be big. I want my community to be able to spend their money within their community, because we the top consumers of jewelry.
Facts.
But we don't see that money. So I want my jewelry brand to be big. I want to own a couple properties. I want my construction company to be big to the point where I could start a school,
Yeah.
like a small trade school, where I could like employ my community, and I just want more dollars circulating through my community. So whether that's through the schools, through the jewelry, I just want to like build on my community.
That's what's up.
That's good.
That's what's up. I really mess with everything you got going on, especially with the jewelry business, because like you said, like we the top people buying the jewelry and things like that. Like you go on YouTube, you go on Instagram, you see these people smiling to give these jewelers racks, like talking about duffel bags, like some of them even free promotion just to say I went to the jeweler, you know.
Yeah.
But I think it's time we go to our own people and, you know, we keep that money too. Like the same way they keeping it in their community, we got to keep it in ours.
Yeah, but that's why I'm making sure to do my job, that I am the
Facts.
best and not just the black one.
Facts,
I don't want you to
facts.
come to me because I'm black. I want you to come to me because I'm the best. So I'm make sure I put the best diamonds and work hard to put out the best pieces.
Sure. And where could people tap in with you? Or like, let's say if anybody want to cop some jewelry, because
So the brand is Black Ice Jewelry, Black Ice NYC. That's with a V, not an A. So BLVCK Ice Jewelry on Instagram, and then my personal Instagram is Dawn Black. I go by Dawn, and the company's Black, so that's how I go by Dawn Black, DONBLVCK_. And you can find me on Instagram, and through my personal Instagram, you could find out more about the construction, the car rentals, and all other little stuff that I got going on. That if you're interested, I'm always free to help. I don't sell. There's nothing wrong with selling courses, but I personally don't sell courses because I love putting people on. So we could always work.
that's true. This is a dope convo.
It was definitely
Learned
good
a
for
lot
sure,
about the
you
jury
know?
game, OD.
I think, honestly and truly, there's no other episode that you could probably find talking about jewelry. Like, just like how you said, where you went on the YouTube channel, you paused, you stopped, write down the address, pulled up the next day, got the jewelry, the diamonds. This gonna be one of them ones where you gotta stop it, replay it, listen,
Facts.
write it down, and then go execute like he says. So definitely tap in, tune in, like, comment, share, subscribe. And I see you guys on the next episode.
And definitely go and cop some jewelry from
cop.
Sean. Like, definitely.
Best
like,
deals.
For sure.
Peace, y'all.
Peace, y'all.
This was